But black women are black women everywhere. They deal everybody. So, do you understand? If your character changes based on who you're with, you are the problem.
All right.
Please start from MBA, please. MBA, start from MBA.
All right, welcome into the locker room on a feel good Friday morning. This is Smooth 98.1, your love music, love live station. It's 17 minutes past 8 a.m. The Smooth Breakfast is in full flow. Yours truly is Ayokunmi, and we are about to get into great sporting action. Apologies for the feedback there. Yes, just listening to myself. Don't do that very often, but hey, here we are. Anyways, you know how it is. Each and every single time we're in the locker room Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm never here alone. Why would I be? I have the one and only Tega Supreme live and direct in the studio. Morning, Tega. You need to say thank God it's Friday.
No, I don't know that I should be saying thank God it's Friday. I wanted one check to clear, and yesterday was not public holiday, so it may clear on Monday. I need to have a great weekend. We have too many public holidays in this country. We need to stop. People are doing business here. All right. On that note,
Don't you like resting?
let's get back into the business. I rest when I want to. I'm a woman of a certain age. All right. On that note, let's get back to the business of sports. We'll talk about the NBA. Lakers were knocked out in five. The same number of games.
Lakers not in five.
The same number of games that they claim they will knock out the other team. We'll touch a little bit on that. The New York Knicks have gone past Detroit Pistons early hours of this morning, so they're through to the semifinals of the Eastern Conference. We'll touch just a little bit on that, and then we'll go to Madrid Masters, where Coco Golf. I want to say Coco Golf beat Iga Swiatek like thief, but it was primarily Iga Swiatek beating herself. We will touch on that when we come in. We'll touch on that when we come into that story, and then we'll talk about Manchester United. If I hear any complaint about referee again, Timba, how they say it in Yoruba, Timba.
Who was complaining about ref?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. You mean generally speaking?
No. You Manchester United people. If I hear any complaint again, hey.
Where did we complain? It was Real Madrid now.
No. You complain, Barcelona complain, but everybody has their time in the season that they complain.
Okay.
Okay. So you people have complained too. If I hear any complaint about ref again, I will put my right finger in your right eye. All right, you're the one that's good. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about why I want to put my right finger in Ayo's right eye. All right. Then what else happened? What else happened this weekend? Okay, what else is happening this weekend? Chelsea is taking on Liverpool. Liverpool will go to Stamford Bridge and collect
Guard of Honor.
Jehovah.
And then collect beating on top.
We don't know about that, but let's just stick with the guard of honor. That one is guaranteed. We'll touch on that. We'll also talk about the battle that is going down in the Italian Serie A, because this weekend Inter Milan faces Verona and Napoli faces Lecce. But the difference is Napoli has been sleeping all week, and Inter Milan came out of a fierce battle with Barcelona midweek. So we'll touch on all those stories and more. But before we do any talking, Ayokunmi, tell us how we can be a part of the locker room.
Alrighty, you can be a part of the locker room. As always, we welcome your contributions, your messages, and you keeping up with us. WhatsApp is one way. The number is 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 That's the WhatsApp number. We're also on YouTube, which you definitely need to be there. You need to be locked in. All the BTS going on behind the scenes.
Yep.
Yes, smooth.
Like there's one part of the studio that is warm, and I'm always going there.
Yes, you need to log in to see. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. That is how we get into, or that's how you join us this morning in the locker room. All right, let's talk about the NBA. And LeBron James specifically, where he says he's unsure if he'll continue his NBA career next season after the Los Angeles Lakers were knocked out of the first round of the playoffs by the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Dude, you're 40. Yeah, okay.
Life begins at 40.
You're entitled to begin another life at 40. Can begin another life at 40. It doesn't have to be here. Look, you have earned the right to retire 2 seasons ago. The fact that you stayed here to bring your son into the NBA, and I say it all the time, there is nothing wrong with LeBron putting Bronny on an NBA team. When you reach there, don't put your family member. That's all I always tell people. If you don't struggle for a family member, who are you struggling for?
You just wonder.
So he earned the right to leave like 2 seasons ago, but a 40-year-old trying to do things, and it was evident in game five. You know, Luca came into that game a little. He was ill, and then in the game he picked up an injury, and he still had to fight his way through playing that. But you could see the struggle with LeBron. During the warm-ups, you see him making buckets. During the game, he couldn't make the same buckets. You're like, dude, how do you go from that guy that dragged the Cavaliers to a championship to the guy that can't even beat Timberwolves? And so, not just couldn't beat Timberwolves, Rudy Gobert was dominating the paint offensively and defensively. So age will begin to tell. He's still fantastic. The talent is there, but the body and the sharpness is not the same. And so he has earned the right to leave if he wants to leave. But it was disappointing. And when the Lakers came up against the Timberwolves, the first thing I noted was defense. And I knew who the fall guy was going to be. Everybody was going to pick on Luka not being defensive. And I'm like, Luka is not going to dominate the boards for you. He's a guard. In fact, he's a shooting guard, but because of his versatility in creating chances, they play him as a point guard sometimes. He's a guard. He's not a center. He's not a power forward. He's not going to be dominating your boards. And so ultimately, what the Lakers needed after AD was transferred was to quickly lock down a good center. They just didn't have enough time to do it. So if there's anybody we are going to be blaming for this loss, it should be Rob Pelinka.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, and then the support cast. Because when you think about it, the bench of Minnesota Timberwolves, well, those are the support cast. They scored about 150 something points over the 5 games. Ask me how many points the bench of the Lakers scored.
How many?
44 points. Put together, all their heads put together. Over 5 games.
Less than.
And so if you are in,
less than
so you just came to Lakers to collect money, because that's all they are doing. I can't call it a salary, because salary is what you earn when you work. If you don't work, you're just collecting.
You're collecting grant or something.
You're collecting grants. So ultimately, it has to be. It's the front office you have to blame for this, not Luka Doncic. All right.
Okay. Tega, before we talk about tennis, do you think if LeBron decides, you know what, I still feel good, I'll continue, do you think that could water down his legacy?
No.
Going forward?
No. I always tell people, play as long as you want to play. Water down which legacy? Can they erase all the championships he's won or all the points he's scored? Do you understand? All the defensive players of the year he's won. It can't change anything. It can only add. I think he can play one more season. I think he can play one more season. But yeah, he's feeling jaded right now.
Clearly. All right, let's keep things moving. Let's talk tennis. We're heading to Madrid, where Coco Gauff produced a stunning display to thrash 4-time French Open champion Iga Swiatek 6-1, 6-1, and reach the final of the Madrid Open.
Yeah, and this is one of those cases that the headline doesn't really tell the story. You can say Gauff thrashes because at the end of the day she won, but if you watch the match, you're just like, Iga, sit in the corner and face the wall, because she couldn't hold herself. She got looks in on Coco, a few looks in on Coco Gauff's game and on her game, but she couldn't gauge her parameters. So remember, the day before, she was bageled in the first set by Madison Keys. Yes, 6-love. But you also have to remember, this is Iga Swiatek on clay. This is where she thrives. Iga on clay is like fish in water. So for her to be bageled in the first set was a huge deal. But it came down to what she was doing. She came back in the second set, won the second set, and then eventually won the match. And then so when she comes into this game against Coco Gauff, and she's struggling on her own serves. Meanwhile, I want to congratulate Coco Gauff. She did brilliantly on her own serves. First set, she had only 5 unforced errors. No, I can't remember her having a double fault in the first set. Maybe in the second set, her serves were clean. Her aces, she had 6 aces. Her serves were beautiful. So she played excellently well on her end.
Right.
But she didn't need to lift a finger, because on Iga's end, Iga made all the errors for her. So Kokogov didn't break his sweat for this. Not to take anything away from the win. It was more Iga's.
Iga made life a lot easier
Yes,
for her.
Iga's capitulation, Iga's poor performance was what made Kokogov shine in this match. So tough one for Iga Swiatek. I think she has to find a way. I'm of the opinion that her coach Vim Vincent is not the guy that she should be with. I don't trust him as a coach. He was also Naomi Osaka's coach before she changed him. I don't trust him as a coach. I don't trust his development. I don't trust his tactics. I don't trust anything about him, including his mustache. But she's sticking with him, and I don't know why. But she needs to part her ways from him. So today, the final is Coco Gauff taking on Sabalenka. Coco Gauff trying to win her first title there. Sabalenka trying to come back to win her third title there, because last year it was Iga Swiatek that won, and she beat Sabalenka in the final. So Sabalenka is trying to get back a third title.
Let's see if that's actually going to happen. All right, let's switch gears literally and talk about the Miami Grand Prix. F1 is where we're heading to, and Lando Norris says that he has no reason to be worried about this title campaign, despite McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri outperforming him at the start of the season. No reason to be worried. Okay.
That's what he always say. He always talks tough, sounds very deep. Then he'll get into the car and blunder. And Oscar Piastri will just, skate along the way. But he needs to be worried. He needs to be worried. He's the senior driver, and I'm using senior driver in quotes because between the both of them, he's the driver that is older. He's also the driver that has been at McLaren longer. He's also the driver that, according to their dispensation, he was supposed to be the next after Max Verstappen dominated in a fast Red Bull. Now McLaren has the fastest car on the grid, and Lando Norris is the main driver, even if McLaren doesn't have any main drivers. So this was supposed to be the season he dominates, and this was supposed to be the season he's winning. Unfortunately, in the last 3 races especially, Oscar Piastri has outperformed him brilliantly, and the brilliant performance of Oscar Piastri is revealing his poor performance, because sometimes if your teammate is not doing well in the car, the spotlight doesn't shine on you for not doing well in the car. But when your teammate is riding the same car doing excellently well,
problemo.
So he should be worried, because this is supposed to be his McLaren. If Oscar comes here and Oscar wins a world championship before him in his McLaren, it'd be a problem. This is opportunity to become a world champion.
Right.
You don't take it, it's gone.
I mean, it feels like you being in a particular organization or something, you're supposed to be the head honcho in in quotes, and someone comes in, has the same opportunities and same things as you, and comes and outperforms you.
And he's just like,
from where to where?
We were waiting to become CEO, but because of the person's performance now, the person is now CEO. So it's going to be tough. He should be worried. I don't care what he says. He needs to be worried. If he's not worried, his friends should be worried on his behalf. But somebody needs to be worrying in his camp.
Most definitely. All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back in, we'll be talking about the Europa League, as Man United have seized control of the first leg of the semi-final against 10-man Athletic Bilbao.
Why did they put 10 man there? Is red card not part of the game? Why did they put 10 man there?
They were 10 men now.
No. Why did they put 10 man in the title? They can put it in the body. Why did they put it in the title?
So that it was 10 men that were playing.
No. See? When you see them put 10 man there, they're trying to tell you something. In the title, you can say Manchester United seized control of Europa League semi-final in first leg. They put 10 man there to say that if there was no 10 man, Man U may not have won that. There's a reason for you to put it in the title, is my point. They should have put it in the body.
Agenda will agenda.
Haters gonna hate.
All right, it's the second half of the locker room this Friday morning on Smooth 98.1. We are your love music, love life, and love sports station as well. My name is Ayokunmi, and of course, Tega Supreme with me in the studio. We are taking a look at the sporting action that has been making rounds in the last 24, 48 hours, thereabouts, and also looking forward to the weekend. You also can join us to give your thoughts on the issues that are on the ground. Send them in to us on WhatsApp on 0809 444 0981 0809 444 That is the WhatsApp number. You can also join us on YouTube. We're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can leave your comments in the chat box. There are a number of comments
Already coming in.
already
None on
coming
the
in.
Swiatek. Oh, I forgot to mention. So in the last, remember when Swiatek used to dominate Coco? So
Mm,
Coco has now won the last three matches that they've played against each other. What was surprising about this was that again it was on clay because she'd never beaten Swiatek on clay. But what it is that she has come back and she has changed the dynamics. So by the time they face themselves the next time, Iga will probably have some PTSD
from what happened
from what has
yesterday.
happened. All right, let's go to Manchester United.
All right, now Bruno Fernandes struck twice as Man United put one foot in the Europa League final with a clinical away performance to beat 10-man Athletic Bilbao 3-0 on Thursday.
You see where that was where they should have put it, not in that title. But let's go to the match itself. I would say this. Remember what I said on what's today, Friday?
This Friday, yeah.
What I said on Wednesday about Manchester United and how they score in cup competitions and how they struggle to score
In the league.
in the league. 3 goals in this cup competition. In the Premier League, they will be looking for goal, like looking for black cats on a dark night. It's just it's tough. But in cup competitions, they're scoring all the goals. But this match changed a little bit on the dynamics of the 10 men, and I will tell you why. When the match started, remember Bilbao was the one creating opportunities and could have scored once or twice. But Manchester United scored the first goal. And as soon as they scored that first goal, um, they came back into the game with a plan. We'd stop you from scoring and then we'll get you on the counter. It was that counter that caused this guy to pull Hoyland down. Now, I would say this about the referee. He would throw a book at it and say, according to the letter of the law, he denied a goal scoring opportunity. So, red card. But because it happened in the 18-yard box, I've seen it not given based on the double jeopardy rule.
Yeah.
So you give the penalty and then you don't give the red card.
Because it happened in the box.
Yeah, because it happened in the box. Usually, if it happens outside the box, it's red card every day of the week and twice on Sunday. But when it happens in the box, some referees use discretion and say, let's not do double jeopardy. So, but you can throw a letter of the law on it and say the referee was right. But the minute that red card came in, there was no hope for a comeback for Athletic Bilbao. And it's the same reason why La Liga and French Ligue 1 is played the same way. They play technical football. They are not going to become tactical because they're a man down. When you see teams, they play a team that plays a particular way will continue to play that particular way in the La Liga, regardless of what if they're one man down, if they're playing against Barcelona. In the Premier League, you see some teams that we're playing against Arsenal, low block.
Lock everywhere.
Lock everywhere. Do you understand? They change tactics, they sit deep, and then when it's time, they come out to counter. In La Liga, it does not matter who they are playing, they play exactly the same way. And that's the problem with the La Liga. That's why they concede a lot of goals. You're like, why are you trying to match Real Madrid toe to toe?
I think Ange Postecoglou will do well in Spain.
Yes, he will do better in Spain. And so it's a huge problem for them. And you think that so after the penalty, then they concede the Bruno goal very quickly. Second half, it was really about Manchester United taking their foot off the gas than Atletico defending better. That's what it was. That's why there were no goals. It was really Manchester United taking their foot off the gas than Atletico defending. And so that's the problem with Spanish teams, which is why I believe they will go in the second leg. And because they are looking for goals, they will go out and Manchester United will score again. That's why I don't think the comeback will be complete because I don't trust Athletic Bilbao not to concede.
Hmm. Well, next week isn't too far away. Let's
Yep.
see how that is actually is going to
Yeah.
pan out.
Also mentioning Ange Postecoglou, his team won by 3 goals to 1.
Indeed.
Congratulations to them. So it's looking like the Europa final could be
All
an
English?
English, yeah, an English final. Manchester United against Tottenham, and that means Manchester United is winning the title.
You don't think Spurs have a chance?
This they're called butlers for a reason.
Well, let's talk about the third team. In action in Europe, yes, in Europe yesterday, they're talking about Chelsea, and you know what? Premier League champions Liverpool are in line to receive a guard of honor at Stamford Bridge on Sunday, but any pre-match pleasantries will quickly be put to one side with host Chelsea desperate to boost their top five hopes. I mean, that game yesterday that they played will to give them some confidence going into the
Yeah,
weekend
and the fact that Nottingham Forest played yesterday and
and
lost
lost.
to Brentford. So that's one of the contenders for the top five position that Arsenal secured. I just want to let everybody know that everybody that is insulting Arsenal, Manchester United fans, Chelsea fans, Man City fans, I just want to let you know that it was Arsenal that guaranteed that people got 5 spots. Before you abuse them, just remember you shouldn't bite the finger that fed you.
Give them trophy for that one too.
We'll give them trophy. Top four is a trophy. All right. On that note, let's go back to the Chelsea match. But yes, Chelsea played brilliantly yesterday. I mean, when I saw the name of the team, I was like, this is not a competition. Chelsea is going to beat this team.
Jew Gardens.
It looked like a crutch. The name we give a crutch team, but
Wow.
Chelsea really did the work that they needed to do. Won the match. Some people will say it was not the most brilliant performance. Some people will say the quality of opposition was better. Chelsea would not have made it through. The truth of the matter is, you beat the man in front of you.
Exactly.
So Chelsea beat the team in front of them, and it looks like they're moving into the final. Now, whether they'll be able to beat Real Betis,
Or
who
Fiorentina.
won the match by 2 goals to 1 yesterday, or Fiorentina, who can turn the match around, is a completely different kettle of fish. But for now, they're halfway to the finals. But they also have to fight for their top five spots because they want to play in Champions League, not in Europa. And so that's what makes this match a big deal. Now for Liverpool, they've already won the title. Even if they drop points to the end of the season, they already have the trophy. And so it's going to be a tough task to still be competitive when you've achieved your goal. I don't know how to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that,
But
I mean, at the same time, I don't think Arne Slot is the kind of person.
No,
that
I don't
would,
think they're going to throw
would let standards
No,
drop.
I don't think they're going to throw the match. I'm just saying they're not going to throw the match. They're still going to come in and say they want to win. However, there's a difference between desire and hunger.
After you don't belly full.
Do you understand? So they may desire to play well, but how much will they stretch themselves is what I'm saying.
Right.
How much will they stretch themselves? If the championship depended on this match, you know that they will go over and beyond.
Yeah.
But with this match, they'll just play the best they can and leave it.
It's going to be an exciting weekend of football. Let's see how that is going to pan out. Let me see here. We're talking about Napoli.
Yes.
Yeah, Napoli. Yes, heading over to the Serie A. Napoli are closing in on a second Serie A title in 3 seasons ahead of their trip to struggling Lecce on Saturday. The first of 4 matches against modest opposition, which could confirm a stunning league crown.
Yes. It's this Scudetto battle is just wicked, and everything is about timing. When you have the opportunity, take advantage of it because Inter Milan had ample opportunity when Napoli was going through their own phase, their own crisis, to take advantage of it and create a gap. But Napoli will drop points, they too will drop points.
I don't want Scudetto to take.
Oh no, you can't. Yes, I can. Everybody passing it to each other. And then last weekend, Napoli did their business and Inter Milan didn't do the business. It was like I said, it was a bad week for them. I think they dropped points in 3 matches, lost 2 of those matches in different competitions. So and then this weekend it makes it even tougher for them. They face Verona, and Napoli plays against Lecce. Napoli plays the earlier match. Inter Milan plays the later match.
The prayer will be on.
Yes. And it is all the other things that are happening around Inter Milan. Because remember they played midweek against Barcelona. 3-3 that game ended. It was intense. They were fighting from start to finish because for some reason they just wanted to get the advantage. Where Barcelona said no. We are going to go out even Stevens. And so they fought to the last minute in that one. Then they come back here and they're playing on a Saturday and they're playing a late match. And they have to play that late match, remembering that they're still going to play next Wednesday against a Barcelona side that's one of the toughest not to crack. Because, like I said about Barcelona, it's not if you can score against them. They always give you goals.
Wait, is it Wednesday or Tuesday?
They played Tuesday. Didn't they play Tuesday?
No, they played on Wednesday.
Oh, they played on
So they
Wednesday.
played on
So they are going
Tuesday.
to play on Tuesday.
Huh.
Exactly. So even worse, their mind would be also on that match. And the thing with Barcelona is not how many goals they concede, it's how many goals they can score against you.
Exactly.
They are ready to lose a match to win a match 5-4.
And that's all they need to do.
That's all they need to do, win. And that's why some people are calling for the away goal rule. But with the away goal rule, it would have been 3-0. We would have watched a boring draw at best. Because when it's away goal rule, teams just sit deep. Nobody wants to come out and play. Because it's better not to concede than to concede and try to and score again. So ultimately, it's going to be a tough one for Inter Milan. They are the ones under pressure. Napoli are the ones now flying freely because they play first, number one. They have the 3 points gap at the top of the table, so they can still afford, to drop points and be on level on points. But if Inter Milan should drop any points now, they fall further behind.
Exactly. And Napoli know that their destiny is in their own hands.
Yeah, it's literally in their own hands.
So
all they need to do is just keep winning ahead of Inter Milan.
That's all they
Napoli
need to do.
Will catch up. So tough one for them. But speaking of the 3-3 match against Barcelona, I want to hear your thoughts. Who do you think will go through?
I have a feeling that Barcelona is going to take this one. I mean, with what they did in that first leg, and with Inter's focus on the Serie A as well, I feel they're going to get really distracted, and the short turnaround is going to be tough for Inter to keep up that same energy, even though it's at the San Siro. Yeah. With what Yamal and Co are doing. I don't know. They need to check those boys and see what's going on.
It's called youthful exuberance.
What Flick is doing in that team?
It's called the arrogance of youth. When you're young, you feel invincible, and that's when you're there. When you're older, it's when you're young. It's when you were driving across the road with your eyes closed.
Driving 140.
Yeah, but when you're older, that's why I always say you can tell who learns how to drive older and who learns how to drive younger from the way they are conservative. So your thoughts are that Barcelona will make it through. Okay, let's hear from you. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Who do you think will make it through based on what you saw in the first leg? We're not talking about Arsenal PSG. We don't care about those people.
Wow.
So we don't care about them today. We'll talk about them on Tuesday because their match comes up on Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay. No, we'll talk about them on.
Sorry, Monday.
On Monday.
Yeah, because their match comes up Wednesday. But we care about Barcelona Inter now. So what are your thoughts? What do you think?
Well, let's see if you can send any of those messages real quick, because we need to take your thoughts that are currently on the ground. This is from Onolakwa Olabumi, and says it was a shame the referee ruined the game. A yellow card was fine. The referee in the Chelsea game was stellar. Tosin overreacted and he handled it well. Coco Golf is back. Wow, hope she can sustain this form. What's gone wrong with Shrantek on clay? You just wonder. AY Nunuru says, Wednesday's game was the real Champions League semi-final with breathtaking, exciting football, not the nonsense Arsenal and PSG were doing.
Do you understand?
Lamine Yamal, what a special player. He will win the Ballon d'Or sooner than expected. Nathan Unchoku says, Tega, please answer me this. Is every contact in the box a foul? And it's a contact sport, for goodness sake. Yes, there was contact, but not a pen. What game are you talking about exactly, Nathan? Spurs versus Bodo match, foul on Romero. Spurs versus Bodo match, foul on Romero. Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Well, that's no, not every contact in the 18-yard box should be a foul. But sometimes it's very tricky. Like I said, they can throw a book at it.
He further says, what Enrique is doing with PSG is what Ruben Amorim is trying to do with United, to make the team his own and leave his imprint with no big player. Wahala. They will do well next season. PSG versus Inter in the final. All right. Tayo says, Arsenal, thank you for an additional slot. Chelsea, clap well during that guard of honor. Nothing has been harmed. Athletic and Arsenal want to do want to do remontada. Let me sit down and laugh. So no more Lakers in 5. Inter need to stop to lock shop after scoring. They can't seem to. This is a message from Kenoni Matat says, I see Barca going through, Chelsea winning the Conference League, and Man United winning Europa. Okay, let me go to YouTube. Uchina Wokoye says, Bruno, Captain Fantastic, a master and commander. Barca versus Inter was an explosive one. Can't wait for next week. All UCLs are still balanced, while Europa is slightly gone. United should focus. And Ayofedada says, the Barca versus Inter semi-final fixture on Wednesday was a proper Champions League classic, 3-3. Both teams we're going band for band, aura for aura. Score me and score you.
I'm
Lastly,
telling you.
Lamine Yamal, that boy is fire. Ibrahim Hassan says that UCL match with Barca and Inter is a classic case of bad defending.
Yep.
And Lana's Ogun said, Tega, have you been naughty? Why are you in the corner?
That place is warm. That place is warm.
And Lana's, don't worry, we're actually working on that stream. So please do hang in there. It's going to be fine. Okay, that's Larry from the abroad. And Olufemi says, thank you, thanks Arsenal. Get Lukman and Osimhen for a Lukman and Osimhen Saka LOS attack. Look out partnership, look out Premiership and Champions League. Here they
I don't know that Arsenal can get Osimhen. Mikel Arteta doesn't even like that kind of player.
Osimhen and Lukman.
There's even more hope of him getting Lukman because he likes players that he can play two ways. So Mikel Arteta is that kind of guy that he will buy things that he can use for two different purposes. so instead of buying a torchlight, he'll buy a torchlight that can cut something. That's how Mikel Arteta is.
Multi-purpose.
And Arsenal seem to be having all those stingy and pragmatic people as coaches. On that note, we want to thank you for sending me your messages via WhatsApp. Thank you for streaming on YouTube and tuning into Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. This weekend is a big weekend. So there is banter to go around for everybody. On that note, and that note alone, pray that your team is not fodder for banter. Have a great weekend.
All right, Tega, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. And thank you for keeping it tuned to Smooth 98.1 and the locker room. Don't go anywhere. Great music coming your way on the Smooth Breakfast on a Feel Good Friday morning.
I beg, I've left this your cold today.